The Inner Game of Tennis is a groundbreaking book in sports psychology that transcends the boundaries of tennis and even of sports in general, offering profound insights into the nature of learning, peak performance, and self-mastery in every aspect of our lives. In this video, we will go through the main learnings of this book so you can apply its principles to any sport or to your life starting now. Let's dive in. If you play a sport, you will notice there are days where you play really well and others where it feels like you just can't catch a break. Perhaps you've noticed days where it felt like you knew exactly what's going wrong but can't seem to shake it off. This means you need to work on your inner game. To help illustrate the concept of inner game, Gallwey introduces us to the two selves, something we've spoken about on this channel before as it relates to habit formation. Self 1 is the critical, analytical, and judgmental mind, whereas Self 2 is the doer, the intuitive self beyond the level of the mind. Daniel Kahneman refers to these as System 1 and System 2 thinking. Check out my video on habit formation for a deep dive on how these work. The first key in peak performance in a sport, or really in any activity you undertake, is to improve the relationship between these two selves. The logical mind has to get out of the way to allow the natural capabilities of Self 2 to learn and perform. When playing a sport, you will know when someone is deep in their mind and judging their performance because their face will be in a frown of concentration or frustration. But do tightened face muscles help you perform better? The issue is that the critical and judgmental Self 1 does not trust the intuitive capacities of Self 2 to do the job, so it tries to do the work instead. However, this doesn't work because Self 1 has no control over the body, it's all mind. If you're learning to ride a bike, you simply ride it until your body catches on, and then suddenly you know how to ride a bike. Mentally telling yourself to balance in a particular direction or pedal in a particular way will do nothing but hinder your progress. This is the essence of inner game. The primary obstacle to peak performance is not a lack of skill, but rather the interference from Self 1, which is prone to self-criticism and doubt to the point of paralysis. Instead of letting the mind chatter, judge, and try to correct for poor performance, learn to let go of the mind and trust the innate capabilities of Self 2 to do the work. This involves first quieting the mind to then allow the body to instinctively respond to the demands of the present moment. A good strategy is to give your logical mind something else to focus on, such as the seams of the ball or the feeling of your body as it moves through space. If you're deeply concentrating on the seams and trying to see how they look as the ball spins, you won't have room in your mind to judge what is happening or whether you will succeed or fail, and Self 2 will be able to do its thing unimpaired. Quieting the mind is a gradual process that involves forgetting several habits we've acquired since we were children. The first skill is letting go of the inclination to judge ourselves and our performance as either good or bad. Judgment provokes thinking, which takes you out of the game and out of the present moment. Instead of seeing the present moment as it is and moving on, you judge it and assign value to a neutral event. Maybe you even assign labels to yourself. One bad serve means I'm bad at serving. These judgments become self-fulfilling prophecies which Self 2 will gladly live up to. Instead, observe what happens objectively and ask Self 2 for the outcome you want. Use descriptive but non-judgmental words to interpret the events that are occurring. Stop trying to change your serve and try to see it as it is. Your goal is to increase your awareness of the part where you are messing up and allow the body to correct itself. Watch how the pros do a particular action you struggle with in slow motion, and then allow the self to learn and figure out the best way to go about how to replicate it. This is where visualization comes in. Before you hit your serve, visualize the desired outcome in your mind as vividly as possible. Repeat the image in your mind several times, picturing the desired outcome with zero verbal commands, and then let the body imitate what you've envisioned. Do not try to correct for past errors. The body will course correct and learn more effectively without your input. I will create a more in-depth video on how to improve and leverage this skill, but for now, check out my video on the flow state for more on how to improve this ability. When an athlete is in peak performance, they play unconsciously. The body is acting of its own accord, and the performance arises from something beyond the mind. In these moments, the mind does not act like a separate entity telling you what you should do or criticizing you for how to do it, but it is quiet. The action flows through your being as naturally as a sunflower moves toward the sun. Do you get it? The problem here is you. You're getting in your own way. If you tried to mentally break down the steps and coordination required for even the most mundane physical tasks, you will realize that the body is an incredible instrument. When you realize this, you will see how inappropriate and counterproductive it is to denigrate ourselves. When a child stops crawling and learns to walk, it doesn't judge itself for not learning quickly enough, and it doesn't try hard to drop the bad habit of crawling. Trust yourself and know that there is an inner intelligence within you that can learn just about anything. This doesn't mean positive thinking either, which is still within the judgmental framework of good or bad. If your mind praises itself for doing something right, then the possibility of doing something wrong is also in your mind and will linger as something to be avoided. These compliments are inner criticisms in disguise. Acknowledge and respect your current capabilities and the innate ability of the body, allowing it to unfold at its own pace with as little verbal input as possible. Remember that there is no substitute for learning from experience. If the body knows how to perform an action, let it happen. If it doesn't, let it learn. At its core, this book is using the sport of tennis to point us to a place of oneness that is our natural state. This is the main reason to play a sport. Sure, it's also healthy for you or whatever, but getting to the point where we are able to receive this gift of flow and effortless concentration in the present moment will provide more for us than any external accomplishment. In this sense, playing a better opponent or attempting a challenge that is beyond your current abilities is better because it forces you to focus and pushes you to drop the games our egos play. It allows us to forget about the external outcomes and instead focus on giving maximum effort in every second. The best part is that once we're able to drop the ego and simply be in the present moment, we will forego the need to prove ourselves and have more fun too. This is why we keep coming back to a sport we struggle with time and time again. Regardless of how long we've been playing, we've gotten glimpses of that state of oneness. Thanks to brief moments of bliss and flow, we became aware of that inner obstacle within us that has plagued us our entire lives and prevents us from enjoying the present moment. What we really want is not to win the external game, but to win the inner game. We want to conquer ourselves. In this sense, competition becomes an opportunity, a device for you to reach new levels of self-awareness. Reaching an external goal is never as valuable as the growth that can come from making a supreme effort to overcome ourselves. The other team or opponent provides you with the obstacles you need to do this. This is why you should aim to play beyond your current skill level. An opponent playing really well against you is doing you a favor. They are giving you the opportunity to find out what heights you can rise to learn if you're up for the challenge or if you will crumble under the pressure. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose because we aren't defeating the other person but surmounting the obstacles they place in front of us and the obstacles that arise within us. Inner stability is acquired not by burying one's head in the sand or exerting effort to change the external world, but by acquiring the ability to see the true nature of what is happening and developing the ability to respond appropriately. That's where the true value of any sport lies. Are you in your mind or are you putting in maximum effort? Are you concentrating and allowing the self to do what it knows and keeping the selfish needs of the ego out of the way or not? Sports help you catch your mind and place your attention on the present moment. This is all there is and the key to life. Winning means you're not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, but instead winning is the moment-to-moment effort to let go and stay centered in the here and now. This is the only game that matters, the game of life, and it's a game that never ends. There's a lot more we weren't able to cover in this video, including tons of specific examples and more step-by-step instructions on how to apply the principles of inner game to your sport or to any aspect of your life. So if you'd like to learn more, I recommend you pick up the book for yourself. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And make sure to check the description for more resources. Until next time, safe travels.